The British were desperate to stop the U-boat offensive. U-boats were the ultimate weapon of naval warfare, for they had extreme stealth and offensive power, with the potential to destroy any ship, even the largest ship in the fleet, the HMHS Britannia. The Allied forces had no way to counter the U-boats, and current strategies against the submarines required a lot of luck to successfully destroy them. In 1917, Germany launched the Age of Unrestricted Warfare, which enabled them to destroy any ship that was not allied with Germany. Of the 178 U-boats that were destroyed, 5,000 Allied and neutral ships were destroyed. U-boats were destroying the merchant ships and Allied ships that were supplying Britain with resources that were vital to the success of the war, such as ammo, food, and a lot of guns. Like a boatload of guns.
However, trying to destroy the U-boats via the air was not viable, for they had concrete shelters which the bombs could not destroy. A raid from inland was impossible due to the distance the army had to march, and once they arrived, the Germans would be alerted about the Allied position on the battlefield.
On February the 2nd, the Admiral of the fleet, Roger Keyes, proposed a plan to stop the U-boats once and for all. This was the Zeebrugge raid. He targeted the Zeebrugge Bruges Canal in Belgium. This was the base of operations for the German naval fleet, and instead of destroying U-boats, he instead suggested to block the canal to prevent U-boats from being deployed in the future.
The plan was to first set a smokescreen and send 3 ships into a smokescreen. The ships are the HMS Vindictive, Daffodil, and Iris. These are to attack the mile-long mole to try to take over the mole batteries and to distract the shore artillery. As the attack goes on, 2 submarines C1 and C3, which are filled with 5 tons of Amatol each, are to go under the viaduct and blow up the bridge connecting the mole to the mainland. This will prevent German reinforcements to the mole. Meanwhile, 3 ships, the HMS Thetis, Intrepid, and Iphigenia, are to go into the narrowest part of the canal and sink themselves inside. All of the 3 ships are to be filled with concrete, approximately 15 tons of concrete in total.
The men were arming the ships weeks beforehand, fitting them with extra armor to withstand more damage from the artillery fire from the Germans, and especially for the HMS Vindictive. A lot of guns were fitted to increase her firepower.
The plan was all set. However, they required a rare combination of 3 factors: the moon, wind, and the tide. The moon had to be not visible, because the illuminating moonlight will reveal the ship's positions through the smokescreen. The wind had to blow in from the sea to the harbor to move the smokescreen towards the enemy and cover fire from the batteries. The tide also had to be high tide, or else the block ships cannot enter the canal.
On the night of the 22nd of February, the raid began. 3 patrol ships blocked the smoke floats, creating a massive smokescreen on the horizon. The 3 distraction ships entered the smokescreen. Seeing there was something suspicious going on, the German batteries opened fire into the smokescreen. All was going well until the wind suddenly changed direction. The Vindictive, Daffodil, and Iris were exposed to the batteries. They took heavy damage, and men that were on board were dropping like flies. Keyes could only move the operation forward. The Vindictive was forced to land in the wrong position due to heavy fire, and the Daffodil pushed the Vindictive to the landing site. Unbeknownst to them, there was a German destroyer the night before. The destroyer crippled the large naval guns on the Vindictive, which prevented the Allies taking the shore batteries.
Meanwhile, the submarine C1 was nowhere to be seen, and C3 arrived in the nick of time. Instead of using the automatic pilot to steer the ship, Captain Sanford manually drove the sub under the viaduct and escaped as the submarine exploded. He was awarded for the Victoria Cross for his actions.
The Thetis, Iphigenia, and Intrepid moved in. The artillery from the shorelines saw the next threat and concentrated the fire on the ships. Thetis was the first to be destroyed after being caught in several submarine nets and sustaining much damage. The Iphigenia and Intrepid managed to enter the canal but did not reach the designated point.
The operation was still seen as a success for the British, as the raid prevented the U-boats from exiting for a few days. Even though they managed to open up the harbour in 6 days, the rate of U-boats entering and exiting the harbour were reduced, making the raid an overall success. 11 people were receiving the Victoria Cross, the most in any raid in World War I.